maybe it's like an Attack on Titan type of thing. Like maybe if they get rid of the god, it'll just eliminate like all of them or all the rules. I was about to ask you, like, are you religious at all?
No, not really.
Okay, because I was like, sickness obviously is like bad, but also
sickness,
you could
death.
argue is kind of necessary. Death is kind of necessary.
Sickness is not necessary.
It's kind of necessary for like overpopulation. Like if no one got sick, like we are already running out of resources. Like if no one got sick or if no one died,
yeah, but we're only running out of resources because people produce things. It's not because you know what I'm saying.
There is a disproportionate amount of usage for certain places and groups of people.
Yeah, because theoretically, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like over time, it'll be overpopulated, and then the population will outweigh the amount of resources needed to have that population. But then again, it's like people can travel. Like we're figuring out ways to travel to different planets. So eventually, we just overpopulate the whole solar system, I guess. But there's infinite amount of space. And then technology would continue to get better, and then you can travel across space for X amount of time and not have to worry about dying per se. And then if there's no death, then you don't need resources. If there's no sickness, you don't need resources. Language is necessary though, because how can you communicate? Language is very broad. That could be any form of communication.
I think why I ask is if you're religious, because I think in the Bible I'm not super religious either, but I think in the Bible somewhere, I think it was I don't know if it was Babylon or I don't know what specific story, but I remember God gave them different languages so that they couldn't build something together. I don't remember the specific story or what it was about, but I was gonna ask, do you think these differentiators like language and race, do you think if they were not a thing, would it be better or worse?
Language, I feel like that's very broad because, like I said, you need language to communicate. If there's no language, does that mean no language or just one language? There's not multiple.
Just one language.
If there's just one language, then yeah, I think that'll be fine. Race, I think if there was no race, it would probably be better because obviously there's racists. But then you can say if there's let's say there's no race, but there's different languages. Then you could be like a languageist. People will find a reason.
There already is that.
Yeah. People will find a reason to have conflict. But if there's only one language, there's only one race, then it narrows down what you're gonna fight over per se. And
okay.
So I definitely think one language, and then the elimination of multiple languages and the eliminations of multiple races would, I don't know, it's always going to be a thing. It might be okay, you have long hair, you have short hair. You can't grow hair. You have a beard, you don't have a beard. You know what I'm saying? It'll always present other things, but it definitely would, I guess, cut down, or it might even increase the I don't know, because racism is a very dumb thing. Because you're two different colors, you don't like each other. I was gonna say it might potentially create something that's even more ridiculous, and people are like, "Oh, this makes no
people
sense."
Are gonna get even more imaginative about what they can differentiate.
So I don't know. It varies, but I don't think it'll really change anything per se. I think the main thing is sickness and death. If both of those are gone, then it's you can't kill anybody and you can't have bad health. So
now we're forced to live with racists.
I guess.
Well, also another thing with sickness and death, I feel like I'm a strong believer that we can't be immortal, because if we were immortal, I feel like there would be no sense of urgency
to do anything.
And I feel like we wouldn't progress as fast if we were all immortal, or progress at all.
You think the idea of death increases the ability to do stuff?
Yes, I think time is the strongest motivator.
I think it could be both ways, because some people feel I'm just gonna die anyway. Why do anything?
Right.
So I think time is a good motivator, but I would have to see who some of the people who created. Conflict, I think, is the best motivator, because the biggest technological advancements have come from war, and fighting.
True. Which is also related to death.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess it's I don't think it's necessarily time. Let's say you're immortal, but you can still die. You're immortal in the sense of like you can't die unless you're killed.
Okay.
I feel like that form of immortality is a lot more realistic. And I don't know, if you're just immortal, like you can't take damage, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But you can, like, if nothing bad happens, you don't get killed, like you can't get sick, but somebody could come up and shoot you or stab you or something, you'll die. But you're immortal in the sense of like if you're just naturally living, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You won't. So I don't know. I don't know.
If that was the case, I feel like maybe it would be like freedom would be the biggest resource at that point, or something else. Like if they can't take your life, they'll find something else to take.
Yeah, like make you work, to
Yeah.
keep you in captivity. So yeah.
Okay.